Hello, my name is Santiago, and we're going to be going over problem 8 of exam 1. We are giving 2 points, and we're going to have to find the slope that meets them and give 2 coordinates, or given the conditions, excuse me. We also like to notate here that f of 1 is equal to negative 4. X is obviously usually an f of x, so that's going to be our x value, and negative 4 is going to be our y value. And I kind of notate that here. So our point should be negative 2, 5, and 1, negative 4. So we're going to find the slope that meets the given 2 conditions. So relatively simple. So we have to use rise over run to find slope. And remember what slope is actually equal to. So m is also the notation, but it's change in y over change in x. Which looks like 5 minus 4. Make sure it's a negative 4, so make sure to plug it in like that. So it's actually going to be 5 plus 4 and negative 2 minus 1. So we end up with 5 plus 4 over negative 3, which will give us 9 over negative 3. Which, of course, we can simplify. To just negative 3 over 1. And that is going to be our slope, which is also notated as m. So that's part 1 done. And now we're going to move on to our part 2, and I'll explain that a little bit. We're going to write the equation of the line perpendicular to the slope above that passes through 6, 1 in point slope form. So there's a couple things that we can notate here right off the bat. First, we got to know what we're actually looking for and what components to use. So we're passing through 6, 1, so that'll be very important here in the next couple of steps. So first, we know that slope is equal to negative 3 over 1. And then we know for the perpendicular line, a line that's perpendicular to it, will just flip, right? So we should have p upside down t is going to be equal to 1 over 3, and it's going to be positive. So it flips numerator and denominator, and also the sign, so it will become positive. And that's going to be a flip, and that's going to be the slope of our opposite line. Now, let's use our point slope form and the information that we have to figure this out. So we have y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. And that's going to be our point slope form. We're going to get it into y-intercept form, that way we can actually graph it later on here. So plug in our values. So we're going to use y minus 1 equals 1 over 3. So we picked, this is the perpendicular line like I asked for. X minus 6 equals y1 equal to 1 over 3 minus 2. Plus 1 on one side to get that y by itself. We should get 1 over 3 x minus 1. So that's going to be the actual equation of our line. We used the perpendicular line to get this equation, by the way. That's where that 1 comes from. It's not the same one before, but we used the slope of 1 over 3. So our point was 1, or 6 over 1, or 6, 1, that passes through. So that's how we got that. And since we know where they're perpendicular at, we can just jot that down right away. So it'd be 6, -1. But I don't do that quite yet. So we're just analyzing our data, making sure we check our points. So we're going to mark the 2 points on the graph that it's given to us. And then we can start shifting up. So up 1/3, that's going to be our next point. We know the y-intercept is -1. That's why we plot that there. So from our original equation, you'll see that our y-intercept from y-intercept form is -1. So we know -1, 0 is our y-intercept. And as you can see, we're just graphing our first line, which will be that equation, of course. Down 1/3, it just flips since we're going backwards. Our last point will be there. So we'll draw our line. That's forever continuous. We'll adjust it to make sure it hits all points. Now we're going to start analyzing for our second line. Look at our information that we're given. And keep in mind, these points should still match up, right? So we should have a point at -1/4. Excuse me for that call. My apologies. So we'll have a point at 1, -4. Like I said, these points should match up. And then we already figured out the slope of this line, so we can do that accordingly. Remember, it's negative, so on negative values, we'll go down and to the left. So that's me counting it out. Beautiful. We did up 1 over left 3. So we just pick a value to go do the opposite in, right? So we're going left. So we went up, so we decided to go 1 over. And then you'll see where the line intersects at. And we mark the point where it's perpendicular at. Make sure you mark what line is which. So this would be our 1, 3x plus 1. That should actually be -1. That's a mistake there. And this is y is equal to -3 over 1 minus 1. Make sure to label points, of course. And then that's pretty much the rest of the problem. Thank you so much for your time. Remember your key points.